And we're live on YouTube.
Hello,
Look
YouTube.
at that. I'd like everybody to take a look at the new star of the show, the returning Matt Smith.
It's nice to be back. It's nice to be back. Hopefully, we can make this a little bit more. I don't know what's the word I'm looking for. A more constant that I'm going to be here, but we'll see. We'll see what happens with the everything going on in the world these days. How long I'm going to be sticking around.
Well, we need you around just for, like your good looks will bring up the friggin' ratings.
Well, I appreciate the compliment.
Well, you're young,
I'm
good looking.
not
single.
seeing the good looking comments on YouTube, so I'll believe it when I see those. Maybe.
Ladies, he's single. Just go on Grindr, you'll find him there.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I guess we can get started on recording the show for our audio listeners.
Sounds good.
All right. So let's get this going. Welcome to Habs Unfiltered, episode 278. I'm your host, Blaine Putvey, and I'm joined now by a returning special host, Matt Smith.
Good evening.
So glad you're back.
I'm happy to be back as well. At least behind the mic. I don't know about being home, but I'm happy to be doing this again.
I've really missed you because I've had to put up with Treg the entire time, and you actually wear clothing like shirts and pants. And
he's just getting more. He's just getting bigger every time I see him.
Swole.
He's swole, yeah. He's really taking up the picture every time we talk, right? So. You know what? I got to admit, though, good on him. Though he's looking good.
Yeah.
It's too bad that he couldn't make the show. He's not really feeling it tonight. But wish him all the best. And with his competition coming up, I hope he does well. Like he's putting in the work. And if you guys haven't seen him, go and check out his Twitter handle or your Instagram. Like you can tell the guy's put in a lot of work, and I'm pretty damn proud of him. It takes a lot of commitment to do something like that.
Yeah. Now he's all squishy.
Yeah.
I'm sure his wife really appreciates it.
Of course.
Tina's already said she's not a big fan of muscle heads, yet there he is. Hey, he's doing a pretty good job.
He is.
To be brutally honest, he's doing really well.
Absolutely.
So, for this episode, we're going to cover a few odds and ends. There's some talk about trades. There's some rookie tournament talk, and we could talk about some of the players in that rookie tournament. But we could start with the basic rumors going around, and I don't think it takes a genius or an insider to figure this out, but Kent Hughes is working the phones to move one of his 17 million forwards.
He has to.
Yeah.
Some people were saying, "Oh, he doesn't need to make a move. He doesn't need this. They can put them down. Send them down to the AHL, etc." I'm like, no, you don't want to do that, especially if it's a guy making some money. You don't want to just throw him down there, or a veteran player that could make a difference on another team.
I mean, even if you move the guys down that are waiver exempt, like Slafkovsky, if you shove him down to the minors to hold on to the guys that are under NHL contracts and currently on the roster, minus the three that are hurt right now. So you have Drouin, Byron, and Monahan,
yeah.
who on the first day may not be there. One of them might. There's talk that maybe Byron might be ready.
Right.
But assuming all three are still hurt, you're still got 13 or 14 forwards. So you move Slafkovsky down. What if he earned a spot? Yeah. Now you're hurting the culture that you're trying to build. So
Well, if you look just at
Yeah.
some of the forwards that aren't waivers exempt, and I'll name off a few of them. And a few of these guys people have talked about in either recent trades or they've said we'll just put them down in the AHL. Some of those people would include Byron, obviously, Rem Pitlick, who I thought played very well for them, and he earned that extension. He's likely going to be a third, fourth line guy, but again, you got to find a place for him. Michael Pezzetta, it's a guy that he's gonna he got his 1 year contract. He's back. He's a guy that
he would probably be lost on waivers if he was put on waivers.
I think so. I think he would be. Jake Evans, obviously.
Yeah.
And we'll throw in a guy like we'll even look at the defense. Which needs help, is they're probably going to try to do a forward for a defenseman. But guys like Baron Schuneman, those are the guys that you're going to want to more or less keep at the NHL level.
Well, you're going to need 7 defensemen.
Right. So you're looking at guys like, if they want to go that route where they're going to keep some guys on the NHL roster that are waivers exempt, or that are waivers exempt. Then I'm wondering like what's going to happen with guys like Norlinder, Leskinen, Jordan Harris, those kind of guys, because those can just kind of be put down, and it kind of points to the direction right now that those guys are going to start Laval.
Well, I think the majority of the defensemen might, because there's going to be very few spots. So there's on the right side, you got Barron, and maybe Jordan Harris will compete for that spot as well. And on the left, Gooley, Harris, Norlinder. There's only one of them that's going to get to play,
right?
And they're all waivers exempt, so it doesn't really matter at that point. For really, it's all about development. But up front, you don't want to be dropping guys on waivers and
you don't.
Losing them. No one's going to claim Byron at 3.4 million, even if it's an expiring contract. 3.4 million for a bottom 6 player is a lot of money.
Yeah. And in a way, I just can't see them throwing him on waivers.
They can. They did it last year and the year before. It's a new management group, granted.
Yeah, but it's like, but that was more. That was the what was it called? The little small team that was playing with them. The little, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
The extended roster that they had. I don't remember what it was called now.
Yeah, that taxi squad.
Yeah, taxi squad. Yeah.
Yeah. Which fine, but I mean, you shove him down into the minors. Now you're losing someone from your leadership group. I can't see anyone wanting to trade for him either. So,
and Hughes has already said that he's not going to move a contract or move prospects and picks with a contract to move a contract. So,
yeah,
right now,
he wants to get rid of cap too.
Yeah, he does. So I kind of applaud him for not doing that. And so far, he hasn't made a move like that. And I'm very happy that he hasn't. I just hope that he sticks to his word and he doesn't do something like that.
I mean, I wouldn't mind him moving a guy out for futures. Just say, here's Mike Hoffman. Don't give us anything.
Right. But I'd be okay with something like that. But I'm going to say, like, we're going to give you Mike Hoffman for futures, but we also are going to throw a 2nd round pick in there. We're going to throw this to sweeten the deal. I don't want to see anything like that happen.
I wouldn't. So before you even try to hand off picks to get rid of them, more than likely you'd have to take back a contract. So if it's, you don't want to take on more cap unless it's a 1 year contract. I mean, I can see him finagling it for that. Sure. Yeah. But
the Canadians there's right a lot now of, because they have quite a few expiring contracts going into next year. So either the guys are going to play hard for the contracts in Drouin, Monahan, Dadonov, etc., or they're simply going to be gone after the next season, after this season.
I think it's going to be both. I think they're all going to play hard for contracts and they're all going to be gone. I know there was talk that maybe Monahan will stay if he does well, but I don't see him fitting in long term with this group. I see him more. He was taken on as a cap dump because they offered a first with him. So if they can get another pick or another prospect out of the deal, even better. Drouin, I think this is his last year with the Canadians. Whether or not he actually breaks out and stays healthy come deadline, they're going to trade him for whatever they can get. Hopefully, if he's doing well, they can get a first. Same thing with Dadonov.
Right.
So, but they need to drop
now,
somebody.
All we can do right now is speculate, and on all those, it's all the usual suspects that are out there. The guys like Armia and Byron and Hoffman and those kind of people, but a lot of those contracts, they're going to have to give them away either for nothing, which I'd be okay with, obviously, or they'd have to sweeten the pot. And we're getting closer now to training camp, so something's going to get done.
It could be, something from left field. If by the first game of the season, Anderson's traded out, that's gonna piss off a lot of people.
Yeah.
But I don't see him moving unless they get something significant.
No, he's a guy that I kind of have in my leadership group for this team.
Yeah. Even
though he's not wearing a letter, I think that he's gonna do very good things for this team.
I think so. He always held himself accountable since he's been a Canadian.
Yeah.
So I don't see why that would change now.
For me, it's when he went and talked to Primo that day. That still sticks with me.
Yeah.
And I think that was pretty big on him.
Yeah. Keep your chin up, kid. You got an ECHL team in front of you.
That's right.
So speaking of trades, kind of related, sort of. I mean, Lundqvist has been a defenseman that has been tied to the Canadians now for a little while.
Yeah.
And today, the 19th of September, he was traded to Dallas for a first-round pick, a 2023 top 10 protected first-round pick that if Dallas finishes in the top 10 of the picks, it's protected, so it'd be a 2024 pick. So looking at the return that the Rangers got for him, I'm glad that the Canadians didn't try to one-up Dallas.
Yeah.
Even though Lundqvist would be an excellent fit, giving up a first-round pick for a team that's rebuilding, that for a guy that you're kind of not sure he can really reach his potential, I don't know. I'm glad they didn't do it.
He was a guy that performed very well when he played in the Swedish Hockey League. Came over to North America, put up a big 3 or 4 points in 20, 25 games that he played with the Rangers. Went down to Hartford. I think he was half a point a game player, maybe 2 or 3 goals, something like that. He was a late first round pick in 2018, so I can see the first round pick for a first round pick mentality there. However, Dallas is clearly taking a chance. They lost a guy in oh my God, it slipped right off the tip of my tongue. John Klingberg. Yeah. They lost him, and Stephen Johns is gone, a couple other guys that were in their system. They're taking a chance on him, and it's either going to pay off or they just wasted a first round pick.
Yeah. And with Dallas, Lundqvist was looking for an opportunity to play. In New York, he wasn't going to get that. They're set on defense.
With Schneider coming up, Keandre Miller, etc. These young guys have really taken his spot.
Fox, Trouba.
Yes, yeah. They've really taken that spot.
He had no lane there to step up. So for his career, this is a good move.
And I
Dallas
forgot Ryan Lindgren as well.
That's true. Yeah. But on the right side, you got Trouba, you got Schneider, you got Fox. He had no path there in New York. So going down to Dallas, where they've lost Klingberg and they needed somebody to step in. I'm going to be honest, he's not a replacement for Klingberg. I don't think he will be able to do that for a few more years. But he will be given a top 4 role, and that's what he was looking for.
He's going to be given a chance.
Yeah, and he might reach his potential or he might bust. But for the Canadiens and where they're at, Dallas is clearly a team that's competing for a playoff spot at the very least, whereas the Canadiens are a rebuilding team. So giving up a first, it's a bit dicey, unless they wanted Florida's first round pick. But Dallas won up that. So
right. I'm happy they didn't make that deal.
I agree. I'm 100% on that. Now, talking about picks and rookies, we're going to move on to the rookie tournament.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think anyone really cared whether the Canadiens rookies won or lost any of the games. People were just watching to see how each player did, because this is a group of players that have never played together before.
Yeah.
They were just thrown together, no practices, thrown on the ice, and they even changed the lineups between games. So there was no way for these guys to build any kind of chemistry. So you had to watch their games and individuals.
Right.
Now, a few of them stood out. You have a couple that you really, really enjoyed.
So I think that the standout for me was Owen Beck. Yeah, I think a lot of people could agree with that. For a guy that only played his first OHL season last year, to come out and play the way that he did, work his way up the lineup. I thought that he looked really good. A lot of people were calling him Shane Wright light. For a guy that I said only played his first OHL season last year, to play the way that he did, he always looked dangerous when he was on the ice. He had a few missteps here and there, but it wasn't anything that we can't deal with. And I think he performed very, very well.
See, I know everyone's saying Shane Wright light, but when I was watching him play, the way he positioned himself, how he had his stick in the right lanes at all times, he was on the defensive side of the puck. He had good speed, and he was able to create offense off the rush and on a cycle. He kind of reminded me of Plekanec.
Right.
And if that's what he turns into, holy shit, that's a home run.
Yeah.
But as of right now, that tournament, that showed to me that he is going to get a contract. Guaranteed. He's getting a contract.
Even if I could see him, I think there are 46 contracts right now or something like that.
They're going to wait for a bit.
I could see him getting one of those contracts, right? Cap limit. It's a 50 for a cap limit. I could see him getting an entry level deal. Obviously, he would have to go back to Mississauga if he didn't make the Canadiens. I can't see him making that jump. However, entry level deal in hand, all of a sudden you go to Mississauga, where you put up 51 points in your first season in 68 games. You're probably going to have a call from Hockey Canada for the upcoming World Junior Tournament in Moncton and Halifax.
They would be stupid not to have him at their camp.
Right. So I could see them giving him that contract, to bringing him to the main camp, seeing what the kid's got in him, and then sending him back to Mississauga, contract in hand. Let's see what you got. And from then on in, you're on the payroll. It's really up to you to, put your foot on the gas and kind of carve your own path in your own development, right? And get to that next level.
Well, I think with Mississauga, he's going to be given a larger role.
Yes.
He started off as a fourth liner, given some minor minutes, and he worked his way up until he became indispensable to his team. And he's going to walk into this season in that role. I mean, he didn't get a lot of attention because of Dal Cole.
Not Dal Cole. That's that Bellouz or whatever his name was.
Bellouz, yeah.
Right, Bellouz went to Columbus. Yeah.
There you go. Yeah, because of him, he didn't get as much attention, but he was a very important piece of that team, and I think he's going to be a larger part of that this year. And honestly, in this rookie tournament, in his couple of games that he played, he didn't really wow anybody with any spectacular plays. Like, he wasn't dangling people or stick handling in a phone book. He did all the little things right.
Yeah.
And that style of game translates extremely well
Yeah, I thought he
to the
showed
pro ranks.
I thought he showed really good speed on that one goal, that first goal that he got.
He did,
The
yeah.
second one where he goes to the net and gets taken down, still takes a shot and scores. I thought that he was very impressive. Sign the kid.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure they're going to give him a contract eventually this season, but for now, I really enjoyed watching how he would take this, build speed on the outside, and he was able to cut in towards the net. He had good strength, lower body core strength, which is seems to be a theme with the Canadians now.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not the bicep club anymore. It's the quad club.
Yeah.
So I think he did extremely well. I think he showed really good individual skills, and I'm really looking forward to what he's going to do in Mississauga.
Right.
Now, there were some other players. One that I kind of liked, I have some questions about, but I liked what he did, and that was Emil Heineman.
Okay.
He had good north-south speed.
Yeah.
He has a good shot. He's got good frame. He's able to use his size well enough to win some board battles and forecheck and win those puck races and protect the puck. But there's holes to his game. He's still raw.
Yes.
So I fully expect him to go back to Europe because according to, was it Patrick Bexel of Habs Eyes on the Prize, it's either the NHL or Sweden, according to the contract that he has, because he wasn't a first round pick and he's not a first round pick of the team he's with now. It's one or the other, and it's going to be Europe.
Yeah, I'd have no problem with that.
No, neither would I. I think it's unfortunate that he missed out on his opportunity to get some games in North America last playoff run for Laval, considering he got injured. But if he can go back to the SHL and he could take another step, I think if he cleaned up his game a little bit defensively and kind of played a smarter offensive game, he doesn't have to become an East-West player. He can stay North-South.
Yeah.
But
just be
a little bit of
just clean them up a little bit defensively.
Yeah, and that's development. That's gonna just some time. Yeah. He's 20 years old, 21 years old.
Yeah.
Couple more years, he'll be ready. And
but he's got good speed, he's got a great shot.
Yeah. Maybe he gets pushed down eventually on the depth chart, or he works his way up. Either way, I think he's a decent prospect, and he showed well in this short rookie tournament.
Yeah, he did.
Now, who was it? Another player for you?
I'm going to do two at the same time. I'll go with Charlottetown teammates.
Three-way.
Yeah, I'll do Charlottetown Islanders teammates. Xavier Simoneau and William Trudeau.
Good call.
Right.
I really enjoyed watching them play.
Right. So for Simoneau, for being such a small player, very hard nosed, was going to the net, finished off a very pretty passing play. And that last pass was from Trudeau, his teammate in Charlottetown.
It was so amazing. It made the internet glitch.
Yeah. I thought that they both played quite well, but didn't really know much about Trudeau going into this one. I knew that he was a defenseman who played for Charlottetown. That's pretty much all I knew. But when you play behind a guy like Lucas Cormier in Charlottetown, you're not going to be really getting all those offensive opportunities that he would. Like, you're talking about an 80+ point defenseman who put up 30+ goals. But I thought he played very well both sides of the ice. He was getting pucks on net, which is what you like to see from your defenseman, not just shoot it and hope it hits something. He had good accurate shots on net. I thought he played a good two-way game. He had good speed. He made some good passes. And I thought that he looked better than some of the guys that are going to be going for NHL jobs.
Yeah, I mean, those guys going for NHL jobs are also pacing themselves. Whereas
That's true.
Trudeau's trying to push his way into the main camp.
Right.
He might have done enough to get that main camp call up.
He could have. He could have.
But you're right. He's playing
but
behind Cormier. He's not getting all that attention. So this is his way of doing it.
But this year he will. Because Cormier is going to be jumping up to the AHL. So
absolutely.
Or and depending on what Vegas does with all their players, then maybe he'll be playing for Vegas because they're not going to have any players left, right? But
never know.
Yeah.
I just found it odd that you go on Twitter and everybody's demanding that he get traded. I mean, you look at the hashtag Trudeau must go everywhere. Yeah. I mean, most of them are freaking bot accounts. I don't know why everyone hates William Trudeau so much.
I don't know. Don't get it.
It's baffling.
Yeah. I mean, but before we make this a thing, going really quick into Semino, though, as I said, for a guy that's 5'7", he played very hard, and it was really disheartening for me. And I was kind of pissed when he got injured last season, because he was on an absolute tear. Like in 48 games, he put up 86 points. Like he was on an absolute tear, and then he came back for the end of the season into the playoffs, put up 21 points in 14 games in the playoffs, and I just wish that he could have played that full season to see. The Canadians would have had with him. There's no way that he wouldn't hit 100 points. They would have had him, Riley Kidney, and Joshua Roy all at 100 plus points in the same league, and I thought that would have been just fantastic for their prospect pool, and just to be like, hey, look what we did. I'm calling it now. For a second round pick, a fifth round pick, and a sixth, or a second, a fifth, and a sixth. Right? Yeah. So
I'm calling it now. All three are going to have 100 plus points this year.
Well, I don't know if Semino will, as he's probably going to be in the AHL, but all right, but
I didn't say what league,
right? But I'm liking what they're doing with these kind of players. Yeah. Like they've done it with Semino. They did it with Harvey Pinard. Now they've done it with Tornegay, who they're going to give a chance to. He was a former pick of, I want to say Pittsburgh, but I don't think it was Pittsburgh. It might have been Anaheim.
I don't think he was drafted before.
I'm looking it up.
I think he dropped out. But on Semino, I loved the way he attacked the net. He had a little bit of that Gallagher-esque style.
Right.
The small guy barreling to the net. And there was one point in the game against Ottawa, he went up against a 6'4" player.
Right.
And won. Like he outmuscled this big dude in one position, and in a tussle, in a little wrestling match afterwards, still came out on top.
Yeah.
You got to admire that level of tenacity. So I'm not going to bet against this kid when he does finally make the jump to the pros. And I don't know, it could be the next Harvey Pinard. We'll see.
I'd be okay with that.
So have you found it?
I have not. I'm doing my best. I just have a feeling that he was somewhere else, or that he was he was at least in Pittsburgh's system or something. And then I don't know. I'm looking it up.
Before we get to the big guy, we should get to the first overall big guy. And that's Slafkovsky. He was pretty harsh on himself. He did not like his tournament. I don't know what he was. Maybe he felt he had to dominate every game and put up 12 points per game, or I don't know what he was looking to do. But in my view, he showed really well.
I think he did. He didn't. We didn't light it up on the scoreboard, but he made some very good passes. He was very physical. He had kind of like his drive was there, his forecheck, that pass that he made to Messer, who scored the shorthanded goal. Thought that was a beauty. I think that the media and the fans were a little bit too rough on him. This is a guy that, just like everyone else, he hasn't played a lot of hockey in the last little while. This is kind of like a mishmash of players. You can say all you want. they always say he's this big, he should be doing this, he should be dominating, he should be this. Some people are already calling him a bust, and it's like, that's not warranted. All right, it's not warranted. You can't say that off of 2 games at a rookie tournament. Like it is what it is. Like those guys.
Welcome to Habs Twitter.
Right. Well, yeah, exactly. So I think that his showing was just fine. Did he score? No. Did he have some good chances? Did he create some chances? Absolutely. I want to see what he can do with an NHL center. Right.
Yeah.
I want to see what he can do with NHL players passing to the puck and creating space for them, because he made some very good plays that there just wasn't any finish.
He was also trying to do way too much. He was covering all of the ice as if he was a center, even though he's a winger.
Yeah. And speaking of coverage, he was usually double teamed, triple teamed, etc., because they knew that they had to do that. And he was trying to showcase himself. And I think that his teammates were kind of trying to get him the puck a little bit as well. But at the end of the day, he shouldn't be. He's gonna, from the things that he's done at the World Championships and the Olympics and the playoff run and everything. He's gonna hold himself to a high standard, and then being the first overall pick, first one ever from Slovakia, he's gonna have a very high standard for himself, and I can see why he's gonna be a little bit rough on himself, but don't base everything off of 2 games at a rookie tournament.
But what he showed me in those short games, I know he didn't put up a ton of points, but he showed me he knows the lanes he can find lanes to build speed on transition. Right. He's able to win board battles and take that puck to the net directly, that's a skill set in and of itself. He knows how to use his reach. He played pro in Liga last year against men, so he already knows that he doesn't just get by on his physical aspects. He knows that he has to use them as tools towards puck protection, whereas instead of just barreling over people.
Right.
Even though he can. The game against Buffalo, he was coming across the middle, and one of the Sabres defenders came over thinking that he was going to blow him up, and Slafkovsky just shrugged it off as if it was a fly.
Yeah, then Kandada came in and was like, "You can't do that."
Yeah.
All right. So
not only did he get blown up by Slafkovsky when he was throwing the hit, he got punched in the face for it.
All right. So, Tornegay was not drafted. He was invited to Anaheim's main camp. That's what it was. So that's why he's in Anaheim jersey in a lot of his pictures.
Oh, there you go.
There you go.
Fun facts.
Yeah.
With Matt. But back to Slafkovsky, just one more little point that I saw during the 2 games that he played was, you mentioned the double teaming. I think it has a lot to do with the fact that they cannot handle him physically.
No.
And I think that's going to translate to the NHL as well. There's going to be a lot of people that can't handle his size, and he drags defenders in behind the net, leaving massive open spaces in front.
If he can,
which
and he already has, but if he can learn how to use that size to his advantage, not only in front of the net, but board battles, I could see this guy being an absolute beast. At 238 pounds at 18 years old. And I think he's going to drop a little bit of that, but this is a guy that's still growing into his body. And then he's going into his first year of NHL hockey. He's still learning his game. He's still learning his craft, etc. Like this guy, I want to say that if he can get that size, I'm looking at a guy. I'm not comparing the two. So before YouTube and fucking Spotify and Apple and everything blows up, but if he can learn how to do board battles the way a guy like Yager did, similar size, right? And I can already feel it blowing up.
Next door country.
All right, I can already feel it blowing up, but he's got that kind of size.
So send your hate mail to @snakebite350 on Twitter. He will respond to all hate mail with smiling pictures.
Absolutely. I see this guy and how he moves, and for a guy that's that big, he moves so well.
And that's the thing. Now you can't teach size. He's got it.
Yeah.
And he skates as if he's a 5'7" player.
Right.
That is the combination
Yeah.
you rarely see.
I'm
So he's
just
got the
wondering,
potential to become something special.
I'm just wondering, with that size, will the power forward part of his game come? I'm not talking about another guy similar size, not again, similar size, not saying that this player is going to turn into Alexander Ovechkin. However, we've got a guy that is that big that, and you've seen Ovechkin, and like I've seen him play live. I know you have as well. And this guy, for his size, he moves like a son of a bitch. He'll hit you through the boards. I'm wondering if Slavkovsky, even if he played half of that physical, with the scoring touch, with the Yager board battles, where they're looking like they got a pretty complete player.
You heard it here first, folks. Matt Smith is calling this the love child of Jaromir Jagr and Alexander Ovechkin.
Yeah.
Look out, world.
Yeah. We can only hope.
Yeah. Oh my God. If that ever did happen, holy shit.
Yeah.
No, I don't know. The size, the speed, the hands. He could put all of it together and become something really, really special.
Yeah.
And that's the hope in the long term. But for this year, what I really just want to see from him is taking down a notch, because that need to do everything.
Yeah. He needs to simplify.
Play within your game.
He needs to simplify a little bit. Use his and again, he was trying to showcase himself, and I think the team was trying to showcase him as well. But he also didn't have NHL players to pass the puck to or get passed to. But then you flip that. He also wasn't playing against NHL players.
True.
Right. So,
but at the same time, you watch him play in previous tournaments. He does the same thing.
He does,
because he is the man when he's playing for his home country.
Right.
And that's the style of play that he's bringing to this. So if he can learn that he doesn't have to be the man and do everything and play within his own game, we're going to see him explode at that point.
Right. And when he played at the Olympics, started on the fourth line. And by the end of it, he was on the top line. He scored 7 goals in 7 games.
So the secret is, for the Yager Vetchkin to come out, he has to start on the Habs fourth line.
Yeah, and work his way up to the top line.
Was it Yager, or is it going to be Yager Vetchkin?
I don't know. Yeah,
Yavechkin.
We'll figure it out. I like Yavechkin.
Yavechkin. There we go. So everybody's looking for a nickname for him.
There you go.
Yavechkin.
Yeah.
Now, the last player that we could talk that I'd like to talk about is Arbor Jacki.
Do you want to get into Jacki, or do I do Mesher really quick?
Yeah, do Mesher.
Okay. Another guy, first round pick, Slovakian player, friends with Slavkovsky. He was a guy that I thought, again, played extremely well, scored in the games that he played the wing, played center, got a promotion to go up to play center with Slavkovsky. Again, really good hands, great shot, nose to the net. I think he's well worth of that first round pick. Some people said that it was a bit of a reach. I think that it was well within first round parameters for a late first round pick at 26th overall. For me, it's going to be what's going to happen to him next, because as I know that there's talks of him going back and playing in Europe, not necessarily the Slovakian league, but maybe going to Sweden. He could go to the AHL, he could go to the NHL, or he could go to the Kitchener Rangers. I kind of hope he goes to Kitchener. I really do. I don't know if it's going to happen or not, but that's kind of what I'm hoping for.
Well, it was came out during the weekend that was the plan, or that's where he was going to end up. But now it's since then it's kind of been walked back a little bit, and every option is still on the table.
Right.
They're not 100% sure. And honestly, I'm glad that they've walked that back a little bit. Let him go to the main camp, because I think he's earned a spot there.
Right.
See how he does and how his game has evolved and what needs he has, and then place him where it fits best to develop those aspects.
Right.
Because he can come to North America now, play in Laval or play in Kitchener to get acclimatized to the North American style game, the size of the rink, and blah blah blah. But if he needs to work on other things that he can do in Slovakia, do it there.
Yeah. Either way, he's going to be a good. He's
not a big deal.
Either way, he's under contract. He's going to be a guy to watch over the next couple of years. I still think he's a couple of years out.
Oh, guaranteed. Yeah, we're looking at like 3 years before he's capable of an NHL jump. And I know a lot of people look at him and say, well, look, he's so small. He's not. He's a normal sized person. Yeah. Just compared to Slafkovsky, he's a midget.
Right. Or Arbor Jacki.
Arbor Jacki.
Who's getting SOB. Who is getting a lot, and I mean a lot of tweets from the Canadians fan base, and especially from Ottawa's fan base.
Yeah. To start it off, I'd just like to point out the hypocrisy that is coming from that very small yet vocal fan base on Twitter. I remember Greiba just absolutely destroying Eller, and all those same accounts and all those same people saying, hey, don't show up if you don't want to get hurt.
Right.
So back at you.
Right.
It's a rookie tournament. Yeah.
Or when Jake Evans got hurt against Ottawa at a rookie tournament.
Exactly.
And was stretchered off with a late hit.
Yeah. They're sending their AHL goon out there to go after people at a rookie tournament.
Right.
Way to go.
Right.
In this case, it's a defenseman whose game is built on that physical aspect. And he's not just physical. He is legit mean.
Yes.
Oh, now it's going to be some time before he can make the NHL jump, but I think he's going to play really well in Laval, and he has that mean streak.
He's got that snarl. He's got that old school.
He does.
That old school defenseman in him,
and he's mobile as well. He can move the puck well.
He
can skate well.
When he went to Canadians camp and was getting the extra ice time, and he went to main camp, and then he ends up going in and getting a contract. I would have talked more about this kid if I would have known how to pronounce his name. And then I finally then they're like, oh, they pronounced Jack, and I was like, I'm going to talk about this guy now as I can say it. I was like, Key J. So I have a fucking idea. But we're not going to forget.
Buy a vowel.
Yeah, but we know about this guy now. And if you want to know more about this guy, head on to Hockey Fights and check out the many tilts this guy has had. A lot of them are some of the top tilts especially of the last season. Check them out. If you haven't watched the fight with Mascot, definitely go check that out. It's definitely on there.
Mascot's going to watch it because he can't remember it.
Yeah. And you know what? Good on him for sticking up for his teammate.
True. I mean,
right?
he's also someone that...
And he went looking for it.
It
was well behind the play.
Earn a contract.
Right? Yeah, it's well behind the play. He went for it. And I won't get too much into the fight, but I like how he accepted the fight, how he handled himself during the fight and after the fight. He landed his big punch, helped him down to the ice. He didn't let him just drop, which he definitely could have done because he was going down. And no extra shots afterwards. Helped him down to the ice, skated off the ice.
Yeah, and it's not like Mascot's this tiny little guy. He's 6'4", 215. I mean,
he's a big guy too. Yeah,
he's a big dude, and he's got a few fights under his belt as well. And this was all because Jacki was finishing all of his checks, and they
But
felt
that's
that
his
one
game.
of them was a late hit.
Yeah.
Even though the puck literally just left the guy's stick less than a second before.
Right.
I mean, yes, the guy he hit got hurt a bit and had to leave the game. But when you 6'4", 238 defenseman comes barreling in and nails you,
Right.
it's going to hurt.
Right. But he talked about that part of his game not being his only part of the game, and
Exactly.
that is kind of what did come out this weekend. However, he even said he was running around a little bit too much in the first game, and then he let them come to him in the second game that he played, which was the game against Ottawa. And I thought that was it was his better showing. Let's just say that he wasn't trying to force anything as much. You saw he does skate well. He knows how to finish his checks. He can definitely drop the gloves, and we saw it in when he got traded to Hamilton. When he was Kitchener, he played very well as well. He was just under a point a game player before he went to Hamilton, and then all of a sudden he goes to the Memorial Cup, and
Frozen. So yeah, Matt's frozen. Anyway,
sorry, in the oh wait, this isn't a guy that might not he might not make the team at a right. He might not make the team at a camp. Right, he might not make the team at a camp, but this is a player that people should be excited about, and some people are already calling them like the Romanov replacement and all this stuff. I'm not gonna go there. I loved Romanov. I wish they didn't have to move him. However, they do play a similar game. It's just one is 30, 40 pounds heavier.
Yeah, and Jack Guy's ticket to the NHL is going to be that aspect of his game.
Absolutely.
But what he's doing, he's also rounding out his game a little bit. He's adding a little bit more mobility. He's got to work a little bit on his puck handling skills. It's still raw. I mean, he's a late bloomer.
He is.
So in a year or so, I think he could become an NHL regular on a bottom pairing.
Right.
He's that guy that you can put out for some penalty kill time and play on a bottom pairing, or put out when you really need some muscle. No problem with that. And
the thing is,
that's going to be his ticket in.
And teams need that. They need that defensive defenseman. It's just the fact that he is a throwback, old school defensive defenseman that not only will hit you, he will drop you as well if need be.
Yeah. He's got like a mix of a Ben Sherratt and I don't know, Lyle Oderline.
Right. I guess I'm thinking like for the physical side, I'm looking at an old Stars defenseman in Mark Fistrick.
There's a name I haven't heard in a while.
Like this was a guy that like he could
the fister.
All right, he could really hit, and he hit to hurt.
Yeah. So, yeah, and I think he played around the same time with the Stars as Darian Hatcher.
I'm not 100% sure, to be honest. I'd have to look.
But even if he didn't, that's another defenseman that hit to hurt, and it's a throwback to the '90s style defenseman. And you look at the last Canadiens Stanley Cup run, and they had a few of them. So, I mean, and you look at any team that has made it to the final in the last 4 or 5 years, they all have at least one guy like that.
Right. Yeah.
So that's something that, it's worth trying to develop. And no one here is saying that he's going to become anything more than a third pairing kind of guy, but you need those kinds of guys on a third pairing.
You do. And you said that's his ticket. That's how he's going to punch himself in. And that's what he's going to do.
He'll punch his way in.
But that's what he's going to do in the AHL level too. Right. And absolutely. And there's a lot of, especially Sens fans that are out there saying that Tkachuk's going to go after him if he's up at the NHL.
Sure.
Or Sabrin's going to go after him or whatever else. It's like, you know what? He is going to, at one point, he's going to find someone that's going to be a really good matchup for him.
Yeah. It's not going to be those two.
right? But he's gonna find that he plays that kind of game. There's some really big boys out in the AHL that are gonna have no problem dropping the gloves with him. And he's gonna find he's gonna find some, let's just call them worthy dance partners, guys that are gonna end up putting up a really good scrap with him. It's gonna happen.
I think this is a kid that could be flirting with in the heavyweight range in the NHL today.
Right.
Ryan Reeves is someone that I think he can match up with.
I'd like to see
I'm not saying he can win.
I'd like to see it someday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And as for Brady Tkachuk, if he wanted to fight him, go for it.
Yeah.
Win or lose, I don't give two shits, because if you're the Montreal Canadiens and Brady Tkachuk is going after Arbor Xhekaj, you've just given up your best player to take out a third pairing defender. Way to go.
Right. And not to get off topic, but like I would really like to see. I know that's part of Tkachuk's game, but I know it's like that physical part of it is part of his game, and good on him for doing so.
Yeah, but not the fighting part.
Yeah, but like I like to see what he could do with playing that style, but not playing at the, taking the next step in the physical parts type style, right? Like not the instigator type style, right?
True. And to be honest, Tkachuk is going to be a very, very good player for many, many years.
Yes, he will.
But he is more important to the Sens on the ice than defending teammates with fists.
Right. Because who's to say that if that fight ever did happen, that one of them, let's just call it Xhekaj, in this instance, landed that punch that put him on his back, and now you're out your captain, possibly long term because of that, right?
Yeah. What if he does get concussed? He loses the fight, or even if he wins, he lands on Xhekaj.
And we've seen how Ovechkin can throw a punch. Svechnikov.
Yes.
Right.
Exactly. So, I mean, I'm just glad that he got under the Sens fans' skins, because it means that he is doing exactly what he needs to do to take that next step.
Yeah, I agree.
So
I look forward to seeing him play.
Way to go, Arbor.
I live just outside of Belleville, so anytime that Laval's in town, I definitely want to go down and check him out and kind of follow his development.
Wearing your Xhekaj jersey.
I might just have to.
All right. Is there anything else you wanted to cover?
Nothing off the top of my head. Just I'm happy to be back behind the mic. Looking forward to main camp starting. And the only thing that I'll throw in, a guy that surprised me was John Parker Jones. Wouldn't be surprised if you see EC. It's maybe a two-way AHL deal thrown in there. See what he's got. But for a guy that's it's played defense, played the wing, 6'7", 225, 230 pounds. I thought he's
breakaway speed.
Yeah, breakaway speed. Yeah, I thought he played well. He had a fight in there.
Yeah,
he didn't do anything too crazy. I thought for a guy on a PTO or on a PTO, I thought he looked just fine. I wouldn't mind seeing him get that contract. His Troy Rivera is going to need some players, as will Laval. But the one negative I'm going to put out was Verbektik's game. We talk about Canadians goaltending prospects every now and then, and I just don't think it was his best showing. Like he played, Mercer played, and Colomb played, and Verbektik had the worst game out of the three, and he's the only one that's under a pro contract right now. It's an AHL contract with Laval. He's likely going to be in Trois-Rivières. I just was hoping a little bit more out of him.
Yeah, but on the Parker Jones part, I agree. I think he's earned himself at least a call up to the main camp, or if not, wait until the AHL camp, sign him to a two-way deal. I like that idea. Adding that kind of size, adding that kind of strength, I'm all for it.
Yeah.
Any other thoughts before
That's
we
all I
sign
got.
off?
That's all I got. I'm looking forward to the season starting. Looking forward to the main camp. Some exhibition games thrown in there, and that's the one reason I'm kind of happy to be back from overseas. So I'm not going to miss, almost 2 months of the season. But yeah, I'm just happy to be back. Happy doing this, and really looking forward to another what's called a season of Habs Unfiltered. Our following has been growing more and more. While I was away, I saw that you guys were able to pick up some very good guests, and I'm really hoping that we can continue that with this upcoming season.
We did it with a promise that you'd sign some pictures to send to them, so we're gonna have to get working on that.
Right. If I'm on Bill Guerin's desk, I'm okay with
that. Before we sign off, I'd just like to point out that as today we recorded, it's 19th of September. This was the day that Queen Elizabeth II was interred. And as we're all serving members, we've all sworn an oath to the Queen to be loyal servants. And that includes her heirs and successors. So God save the Queen. Long live the King. And with that, I want to thank everybody for listening. I want to thank you all for tuning in, whether you're on the live stream here on YouTube, or you wait until the following day to listen to us on your drive into work, or however you do it. We appreciate the fact that you are spending some time with us, and we love the fact that you guys are sending us ideas. You're sending us comments. You're making fun of us. You're whatever it is. Any interaction with us, we really appreciate that. It shows that we're all just having fun with with this whole thing, because this is just social media. It's not real life. So let's just enjoy it and have fun with it. So again, thank you very much. And if you're talking about it, so are we.
Perfect.
And that's it for the recording. We're still on live. I'd like to thank everyone who's tuned in, all 5 or 6 of you. But thanks for listening in, guys. Thanks for checking in. Keep leaving those comments. Keep sending us those emails. We really do enjoy it.
Yeah, I mean, we can do another mailbag show sometime and highlight some of these people that are the regulars. Let's just call them that. Like,
exactly.
We have a good fan base. We have a good group of people that listen to our show. As I said when we were recording, it's growing. Our numbers are up on YouTube. Our numbers are up on pretty much across all platforms. And with the upcoming season, there's a lot of uncertainty with the team. There's a lot of room for development and improvement. We already know that. But it's going to be a lot of good stuff to talk about. I'm looking forward to some of the guests we're going to have on, some of the connections that we've made over the last few years, and just looking forward to a fresh season.
And if anyone knows a producer, send them our way, because I'm not that good. It would be nice. It would be nice if we got someone better.
Right.
So if you know anyone, hey, we're open to listening. We cannot pay them, so maybe they in some free beer here and there. That's about it.
Yeah,
that's how we got Matt. So
that's pretty much true. He lured me up to the room in Dallas.
Well, I mean, you're making it sound lurid. It was consensual.
Okay, we'll call it that. Yeah.
So thanks everyone for tuning in.